All right, welcome to the webinar. We're going to dive into talking about how to use stocks and options to completely construct a strategy so that you can be unlike most people, but actually make money in the stock market and protect your account. But before we get into all of that, I just want to share a little bit about myself. I always like to make sure you know who the speaker is, just in case you got invited by a friend and you don't know what's going on here. But I'm a stock market coach and real money options trader, Jason Brown. Here's a couple pictures of me jumping out of a perfectly good airplane. There's my wife and my kids. I have a daughter and I have a son. To the right, you'll see me and my best friend. We are certified scuba divers, so we like to go scuba diving and hang out underwater with the fishes. It's such a beautiful time. You can see the other picture with me and my daughter. Got her face painted. And then there's a picture of my son and my daughter, a little bit older now. Actually, that was Easter, so they were dressed up, getting ready to go to church for Easter. And then I'm a graduate of Wayne State University. Grew up here in Detroit, Michigan, and I went to Wayne State, had my bachelor's in finance, and I love the stock market so much that once I made enough money to get out of debt and pay off the house and do some of those things, I actually bought a Ferrari, if you saw that video on YouTube. And then I put invest on the license plate because I just wanted to inspire people from my community, my neighborhood, to let them know that you didn't have to be a drug dealer. You don't have to play basketball or sports to be able to drive one of those cars. So that's just a little bit about me. So thanks for listening. So here's my goal today. My goal today is to share with you the number one reason why most people lose money investing in the stock market. I'm also going to share with you what you really should be doing instead of picking stocks. Everyone wants to be a stock picker, but most of the time stock pickers pick wrong and lose money. And then I'm going to share with you my secret strategy for protecting my portfolio and making money even when stocks are falling. Yes, you heard that correctly. How do we make money when stocks are falling? In fact, one of our students, Tanisha, not Tanisha, I'll share with you her story a little later on, but Tiffany Griffin, she made $3,086 off one trade. And if you look to the right there, you'll see it says 115.37. That's the percent that she made off that trade. So she put about $2,500 into a trade and she made $3,086. And 1,600 of it was in 24 hours, within one day. You see the profit and loss for one day was $1,665. And so in one day she made almost over half of that. And then over the course of a week, she made a total of about $3,000. So that's what this is about. And this is from a stock falling, not from a stock going up. This is from a stock falling. And that's what I want to share with you guys today. So make sure that you stay to the end because I know that your time is valuable. You're probably thinking, okay, what's this webinar about? Is this another training? Yes, I'm going to share with you at the end how we can work together and about my course and program, but not until I give you immense value. And the stuff that I'm going to share with you in this session, you'll be able to take away some things today and start making money or being a better trader or investor in the stock market. And then I'm also going to give you a free gift to one of my courses. Literally, I'm going to give you one of my courses inside my program for free for staying to the end, just to say thank you for your time, because I know that your time is precious as well and everybody's busy. So let's get straight into it. Now, who said money isn't important? Because I know it's important to you or you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be taking time out of your schedule. But I don't know who said money isn't important, because the last time I checked, it's kind of right up there with oxygen, right? It's like you need it to live. You need it to pay bills. You need it to buy food. You need it to provide shelter for you and your family. And so I don't know why people say money isn't important, because it's right up there with oxygen. The less you have of it, the harder it is to live. And the harder it is to live, the harder it is to breathe, right? The harder it is to wake up and not be stressed about how you're going to pay the bills. Where's the food going to come from? How are you going to get your kids to daycare, college? How are you going to repair the car once it breaks down? It's harder to breathe when you don't have the money or know where the next dollar is coming from. And we want to share with you an alternative way to look at the stock market to where you feel like you know exactly where you're going to get the money to pay for certain things that you want to get out of life that maybe your job wouldn't be able to afford you. So the number one reason that most people lose money is that they have no strategy. It sounds very simple, but you'd be surprised how many people just come to the stock market and they just have no strategy. I'm just going to buy something and hope it goes up. And so when you think about the three different ways that the stock market can move, or a stock can move, it really only can move three ways, which is up, which most people are familiar with, just buy low and sell high and hope it goes higher. You're familiar with sideways, and if you're not, I'll explain what that is when the stock is basically at $10, you come back 5 years later, it's still at $10. And then downtrending, which a lot of people are starting to become familiar with. If you bought stocks during the pandemic, you thought things only go higher. And then you started to realize once they start canceling stimulus and raising interest rates that, oh yeah, just a reminder, stocks do fall and go down. And for most people, that's the time to panic, but we're going to show you how you can turn that into potential profits. All right. And so uptrending is what most people are familiar with, but we all know that stocks don't always go up. Now, most people, where do they get their stocks from? Right. They're getting it from Reddit. They're hanging out in some random forum, getting stock advice from random people that they never met. You don't know what their skill level is or anything. Maybe you're getting your stock picks from Facebook. You saw some influencer, somebody posted about Dogecoin or some random thing. Maybe you're getting your stock picks from the news. You're watching CNBC and the talking heads. But the truth is, most of the time, by the time you get your news from the news, at least your stock news, you're late to the party. You're already behind by the time they talk about it on Jim Cramer or CNBC. And then some people are getting their stock picks from their friends, their hairdresser. Maybe you heard the guys talking about it at the barber shop. Everybody's excited about Bitcoin, Dogecoin, all these random things. But nobody really understands how it works. It's just, they use words like, just buy some, trust me, it's going higher. And if you've been following Dogecoin and some of those coins, yeah, they didn't necessarily go higher. And maybe you're getting your stock picks from YouTube. But the problem with that is, and even though we have a YouTube channel, you don't have a place to go back and ask questions if the stock goes wrong, the trade goes against you. You're just left with whatever the recommendation was for that video. And then when things don't go correctly, you're like, oh, snap, what do I do now? And so the second way that stocks can move is sideways. We talked about that, but let me show you an example of what it actually means. Take a look at Ford Motor Company. And you can see here, Ford in April 24, 1998 was trading at about 126. And if you fast forward to January 2022 or 2020, Ford was traded at about 915. And in fact, in 2022, it's not trading that much higher, to be honest with you. And this is what we call your grandpa strategy, which is buy and hold. And the problem with buy and hold, especially here being in the Motor City, they're like, just buy GM, buy Ford, buy some of the big three and just don't ever sell it. Well, the problem with buying and holding and not ever selling it is you can see 22 years later, the stock still has not moved. So can you imagine sticking all your money into Ford and then, waiting 22 years and you're like, this is going to be my retirement. It's going to take care of me. And 22 years later, you look up and the stock hasn't moved at all. In fact, it's maybe a little bit lower than where you bought it at. That is super disappointing. And so that's the problem with buy and hold. Now, we all know that stocks can fall, or we call that a downtrend. But here's the thing. Most people don't have a game plan for when stocks fall, what to do. They don't know how to protect their account. And they definitely don't know how to make money for it. In fact, most people's only strategy, as you guessed it, hope and pray. They just hope the stock goes back up and they pray that they can just break even. You might be laughing because that's probably been you if you've been in the stock market, realizing like, well, I have no strategy. I'm just hoping and praying that the stock goes back up. And hope and prayer doesn't really equate to financial profits in the stock market. All right. And so most investors have no strategy to protect their profits. So they make money. And how many of you know like this? Like, I was up $1,000. Now I'm down $1,000. So they have no strategy to protect their profits. And then they have no simple way to profit from falling stocks. In fact, you might not have even known that you could make money from a stock going down. All right. And so let's do a little bit of math here. If stocks can move three different ways, which is up, sideways, and down, well, that's three ways that it can move. So it's a 33% chance that it can move up, down, or sideways. Or let me say it a different way. If you only know how to make money off a stock going up, you only know how to make money 1/3 of the way, or 33% chance. So if we really think about what that means is that most stock traders and investors have a 33% chance of success. Now, I'm no math major, but if I took a test in college and I got a 33% on it, that was typically a fail. Or let me put it a different way. What this really means in the stock market is that most people have a 67% chance of failure because they don't know how to make money the other two ways, from sideways or down, and they definitely don't know how to protect their account. And so a 67% chance of failure, no wonder why more people are not rich from the stock market. No wonder why most people are frustrated and say things like, I tried something like that before, because they're leaving the biggest percentage of success on the table by only riding or betting on everything going up, which we know that does not always happen. So how do you find good stocks to invest in? I want to share with you a couple of ways. So number one, you need to do fundamental research. It's not good enough to just want to buy the stock that you heard from your friend, your cousin at the barbershop, at the beauty salon, or on Twitter. It's not just going to be like, oh, sounds like a good company, but you have to do fundamental research. But most people don't understand what to look for. So I want to share with you a couple of key things to pay attention to. So number one, you want to look for sales revenue. The sales revenue is going to tell you, is the company selling any of their product and how much money, revenue that they're bringing in for doing that. The second thing you want to take a look at is profit margin. You see, profit margin is going to say, yes, we sold something and we brought revenue in, but did we make any money on that? For example, if Apple sold iPhones, if they sold 1,000 iPhones for $1, they would make, let's just say they sold 1 million iPhones for $1 and they made $1 million. You'd be like, oh, that's great. But what if I told you that it cost them $100 to make an iPhone, which means they lost 99 million. So the profit margin would be negative 99 million on selling that phone for $1. So you see how the revenue is like, oh, we brought in $1 million, but the profit margin tells you a deeper story and says, whoa, but we lost 99 million, right? So we didn't make any money off selling that phone. Yes, it brought us revenue, but we didn't make any money. So I hope that's making sense. And then the third thing you want to pay attention to is earnings. So earnings are going to say, yes, we brought in $1 million in revenue. We lost 99 million on selling that phone. However, all the people that downloaded apps, we got a little percentage of that. Everybody that signed up for iTunes, we had a ton of people sign up for $10 a month. And so we actually made, 100 millions on that from bringing in that revenue. All the people signed up for Apple TV. And so now they're saying, after we take out what we pay our employees, what we pay for our buildings, equipment, manufacturing, research and development, were we profitable? After that revenue and after taking that loss and all the other things we sell, were we profitable after paying taxes and all those things? So those are the three key fundamental drivers that you want to be looking for. And if you don't know how to research those are some things we dive deeper into our courses, and we kind of show you some of the tools and different things to use. But those are the three key fundamental drivers that you want to pay attention to. Now, step two is you want to understand stock charts. All right. So most people buy stocks blindly. They don't know why they're buying it. And then even if they know why they're buying it, they don't know when to get in and when to get out. And so reading stock charts is kind of like the weatherman. The weatherman kind of looks at this map and they can say with some certain level of certainty, like, hey, it's going to be about 68 degrees and sunny in Detroit, Michigan today, or it's going to be, 53 in Boise and it's going to be overcast or it's going to rain. They're able to look at a map and get some type of technical indicator to say whether they believe it's going to rain, snow, sun's going to shine, or whatever the case may be. Now, much like reading stock charts, the same thing with the weatherman. Is the weatherman 100% accurate 100% of the time? The answer is no. Can the weatherman be wrong sometimes? Can they say it's going to rain and it doesn't? Can they say the sun's going to shine and it rains? Of course, the weather can change sometimes, right? And more often than not, though, the weatherman can predict within a certain level of accuracy what the weather is going to do. And that's what I'm trying to tell you here. I'm not trying to say that reading charts is 100% accurate, 100% accurate. What I am saying is that you will probably be a 70% better trader just by being able to accurately read the stock charts versus someone who doesn't know how to read the stock charts and look for those indicators when it's going to rain, when it's going to snow, when it's going to storm, in stock market terms, when the stock's going to go up, go down, or maybe going sideways. If you don't know how to look for that, you've drastically decreased your chances of being successful in the stock market. Take this chart of McDonald's, for example. Now, if you're brand new to reading charts, you have no idea what you're looking at. But right now you're looking at a candlestick chart. And I don't have time to go into details of what a candlestick chart is, but this is just the price action of the stock, meaning like each candlestick is one day. And at the end of the day, it shows where the stock opened and where it closed at. So did it close up? Did it close down? That's what we're looking at. But if you don't know what you're looking at, you're like, oh my gosh, what is this? But if we take it a step further, if you don't know how to recognize pattern, this is called an uptrending channel. And for the trained eye like myself, you can see specific times where you should buy and where you should sell. And so I'm going to put these up here so you can see. If you understand the pattern, you can understand the best times to buy and the best time to sell. You should clearly be getting into the stock at the bottom of the channel and getting out at the top of the channel. And here's what most people do, and tell me if you've been here before or not. What most people do is they don't buy at the bottom where it says buy. Then the stock runs up and they're like, oh my gosh, this stock is doing so well, I should buy it. And they buy right at the top of the channel where they should sell. And it's almost like the day that you buy it, the stock turns around and starts going down. And you're like, oh my goodness, why did it stop going up the day I bought it? And then after it sells off a little bit and you can't take it anymore, and you're like, oh my goodness, I'm losing all my money, I got to stop the bleeding. You turn around and you sell, but you sell right at the bottom where it's time to buy again. And sure as the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, soon as you sell, the stock turns around and goes back up. And you're like, oh my goodness, the stock market is rigged. Like when I bought, it sold off. When I sold, it went back up. And it's not that the stock market is rigged. It's just that you've never been taught how to read a chart, and you don't know how to avoid being on the wrong side of that pattern. And once I learned this, it changed everything from my trading. And this is just one of the patterns that we teach. There's the 3 most common patterns that we share with you inside of our program. And then we go into some advanced technical indicator patterns that take your trading to another level if a stock isn't kind of going in this straight channel-like line perfectly like that. There's other indicators that you can use to get a gauge on whether you believe the stock is going to go up or down. But just this alone will take your trading to the next level, recognizing this one pattern and recognizing the mistake you're making when you're buying when you should be selling, and most people are selling when they should be buying. All right. And so most people in life, there's a saying, a picture is worth what? 1,000 words. But we have a different saying in the stock market. We say a picture is worth $1,000. It's worth thousands of dollars if you can understand how to read the chart, see the picture, see the best time to buy, and see the best time to sell. That is worth thousands of dollars, and nobody's teaching this, and they're definitely not teaching you this in school. All right. So let's talk about step 3. All right. So these are all things you should be doing instead of just randomly picking stocks. Number 1, you should be doing fundamental research. Number 2, you should be learning how to read stock charts and identify these patterns. And then number 3, instead of just picking stocks randomly, you want to learn how to use option strategies to construct a model to where you win even if it goes up, but more importantly, you win if it goes down, or you lose less than you would have not having the strategies. So what are options and how do they work? You might have heard about options, and most of the times when people talk about options, they're like, options are risky, stay away from them. Well, those are people who have no idea how options work. So let me break them down. There's only 2 types of options, but from these 2 types of options, there are, I don't know, we count in our program over 27 different strategies roughly that you can construct from these two types of options. So the first type is a call option. The second one is a put option. Very simple. Let's walk through exactly what they are. So a call option gives you the right to control a stock at a certain price for a certain amount of time. So it's the difference. It's not buying a stock. It gives you the right to control a stock. I'm going to give you an example here in a minute. It also allows you to invest. And this was my favorite part because I didn't have a lot of money when I first got started. And I was like, how do I buy the higher price stocks? Well, options allow you to invest in the higher price stocks at a fraction of the cost. And then the third thing that options allow is leverage for a small investment account. And this is what excited me because I didn't have a big bank account, I didn't have a big trading account. And I needed that leverage to see some real momentum. Like I didn't want to just make 20 bucks. I'm like, what am I going to do with that? But I was able to start seeing how I can make $1,000, kind of like Tiffany did, from a small account, like $2,000, $3,000. And that literally changed my life. All right. So let me give you an example of how options work. Because if you've never heard this before, maybe you heard it somewhere before, but they didn't really explain it right. So if you've ever bought a house or understand the house buying process, then you will understand how options work. Or I'm going to break down how options work because you've participated in it, but maybe you didn't know you were participating in it. So let's just say a house costs $200,000 and you submit an offer to buy the house. You're like, great, I want to buy the house. I love the house. And the house costs $200,000. You do usually also have to have an earnest money deposit. So you have to put maybe $1,000 down. And then you have to get an inspection and an appraisal. So you get an inspection to make sure, it is what you're buying, and an appraisal to say it is what it's worth. And then you could either buy the house or not buy the house after you get the inspection or appraisal. You could back out or you can buy it. So if we were to put some numbers to that and assume you made the offer and it was accepted, $200,000, you put an earnest money deposit down, $1,000. But here's what happened at inspection and appraisal day. The inspection came back fine, but the appraisal came back and it's been 2 weeks or so, 3 weeks. And they said, hey, this house is now worth $250,000, right? Similar to what was happening during the pandemic boom. Prices of houses were just skyrocketing. So a house could increase in value $50,000 in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And so you come back and say it's worth $250,000 now. Well, you now have 30 days to buy the house or sell the contract to someone else. So this is how options work. You now control this house, control this asset for $1,000 because you didn't have to come up with the $200,000, not yet, unless you decide to actually buy the house. So let me just walk you through how you make money from this. So you're controlling a $200,000 house for 30 days. For $1,000 because all you put down was what? The deposit. That's all you put down was the deposit. And now you control this nice asset for 30 days. Since the house appraised at $250,000, you technically could sell your right to buy the house to someone else. So let's say a person came after you, looked at the house like, I love it, I want to buy it. And you're like, sorry, I'm already first in line. I already put a deposit down, right? Well, if they're like, would you sell it to me? You can say, you know what? I really don't want to live in the house. I thought I did. I'd rather have the $50,000 profit. And they're like, fine, it's worth $250,000. You showed me the appraisal. I'll pay you $50,000 for your contract. Then I'll take the contract and go buy the house for $200,000. So if they paid you $50,000 for the contract, and then they took the contract and bought the house for $200,000, they paid what they expected for the house, $250,000. So they're happy. They got the house. But why are you happy? You took $1,000 and you turned it into $50,000 because you sold that piece of paper. You sold that contract to the house to someone else and you let them buy and own the house. And you was like, I'd rather take the $50,000. So I want you to really understand what happened. Did you have to come up with $200,000? No, you only had to come up with the $1,000 deposit to control it for 30 days. Remember, I said a call option allows you to control a stock for a certain amount of time. And then I said it allows you to invest at a fraction of the cost. So instead of needing the whole amount, you only need $1,000. That's the same way it works in the stock market. Then if that stock increases in value within 30 days, 6 months, whatever time frame you purchase, you can sell that contract to someone else who really wants to own the stock, and you can just make your profit. In real estate, they call that wholesaling, but in the stock market, it's called buying a call option or trading call options. All right. That's the exact same thing that I did. So again, if you're not familiar with me on my YouTube channel, I made $400,000 in one trade. Here's a screenshot of that. And you can see I put almost $200,000 into one trade, but I put $200,000 in options. If I would have put that same equivalent, if I would have bought the stock, I would have needed something like $2.3 million. But I was able to put $200,000 into it, and I made $411,000 on that trade. And then the other video we did was we took the profit from that trade and we paid off our house. We have a lake house here in Michigan. And it was one of the most beautiful moments of my life because most people have a mortgage for 30 years. And to be able to pay off this level of a house, and we paid it off in about 2.5 years, but more importantly, to do it with my money working hard for me instead of me working hard for my money was just such a powerful moment. And I was able to do that using call options. All right. And so that's the power of call options. It allows you to exponentially increase your profit potential. It allows you to control higher price, higher quality stocks, the Googles, the Teslas, the Amazon, stocks that you thought previously were out of your reach that you wouldn't be able to afford. It allows you to control those type of stocks. And then it offers leverage for growing a small trading account, kind of like you saw with Tiffany Griffin. So when you think about the number one fear of most people who invest in the stock market, the number one fear of people who invest in the stock market is what? I'll give you a second to think about it. What do you think the number one fear is? Or when you started investing, what was your number one fear of like, I want to do this, but, well, I'll tell you, most people's number one fear is losing money. New traders fear losing money more than anything, right? They're like, that's nice, you paid off your house, but I'm more scared that what if I lose some money, all right? And if you think about where most people lose money, it's from stocks falling. Why? Because most people only know how to make money from stocks going up. So when stocks go down, that is their biggest fear. What's happening to my account? All right. So now I want to share with you my secret strategy to protect your money when the stock market is going down, and even how you could potentially profit from stocks going down. And that is by using put options. Okay. And so if you don't understand what put options are, they are a strategy or a option that you can use when stocks are selling off or falling to protect your account and make money. So a put option gives you the right to put the stock to someone else at a specific price, and it allows you to protect your profit or your bank account from a stock or the overall market falling. And then it allows you to protect your portfolio and lock in gains. So let's say you're up $10,000. You don't have to just hope you can keep the $10,000. You can buy a put and kind of lock in that $10,000. Now it's going to cost you some money for that put. So it's like an insurance policy. But would you be willing to spend $500, $1,000 to lock in $10,000 worth of profit versus what I see most people do? I was up 10,000 and now I'm back at break even, or it was up 10,000. Now they're down 10,000. That is the most ridiculous thing you could do for your trading account. You don't have to go through those ups and downs and those cycles. You can buy insurance and protect yourself from that by using put options. What I'm basically saying is you can literally force someone to buy your falling stock at a higher price. Now, you may not understand how all this works, but just know if you had Apple at $100, or let me use Facebook because one of our members did this on Facebook. But if you had a Facebook put option at 300 and Facebook fell to 200, you can force someone to buy it at 300, even though the stock has fallen to 200, because that's how put options work. And we go deeper inside the course, but just get the big picture concept. You can force someone to buy your fallen stock at a higher price, even if you don't own the stock, but you have that contract. It's powerful that you can still force someone to buy it, even if you don't own it. All right. So Tanisha in our group, who I wanted to tell you about, Earlier, Tiffany made money from stocks falling. I don't know what's up with all the T's in our community, but the ladies are killing it. Tanisha in our group, she actually did this on Facebook. She took $400 and turned it into $5,000. All right. You can see here, she bought Facebook put options. She bought the 295 put, and then she did some other things, but basically the $400 is what turned into $4,999.31 profit. You can see right down there. She took $500 and turned it into $5,000. Ladies and gentlemen, that is powerful to learn how to do that and put yourself in a position where, again, you can use options to leverage a small account and profit from stocks falling. So let me give you an example of how it works. Because you might be thinking like, this is too good to be true. This is crazy. I'm going to show you that it's not crazy. And in fact, every day you already participate in put options. You just didn't know it because the insurance company doesn't call it that. So let's just say you drive a car and the car is valued at $50,000. And most people pay insurance, especially if you're a law-abiding citizen. You're paying insurance. So let's just say you're paying $300 a month for insurance on a car. All right. And so let's just say you got into an accident, but you survived. It's okay. You walked away without a scratch, but the car is not in good shape. All right. So after the accident, like this car got hit, it's only valued at $10,000 now. Well, because you had insurance, or in the stock market, we call it a put option, you can call your insurance company and say, hey, Progressive, hey, State Farm, whoever you have, I got into an accident. And by the way, I've been paying that $300 a month. It's time for you to come make me whole. And what will State Farm or Progressive do? They will come, and if it's a totaled car, they will come buy your totaled car, your car that's now worthless or worth $10,000, and they will cut you the check for $50,000 to buy a new one. Or they'll let you keep the car that's worth $10,000 and cut you a check for $40,000, giving you a total of $50,000, and you can sell the car to get the other $10,000. Whatever the case may be, you exercise your insurance policy. I want you to get the concept. See, when we talk about this in the stock market, I say you can force someone to buy your fallen stock, even though it's not at that price anymore. If stock falls $100, you can force them to buy it at the higher price. And you're like, well, how can you do that? The same way that if you tear up your car, you call the insurance company and you exercise the insurance claim and say, hey, I tore the car up. You don't say, well, why would they buy my car back? Because that's what the policy says they must do if you get into an accident. It's the same way with a put option. The policy says that the other person must buy the stock at this agreed upon price. So if that price was $300 and the stock fell to 200, they must buy it at 300, even though it's at 200, and you make the difference in between. It's so powerful. And that's what Tanisha did with Facebook. All right. And so listen, the missing piece to most people's puzzle is learning how to strategize with options. Most people don't know how to use options correctly to, number one, supercharge their account if they have a small account. They don't know how to, number two, protect their account from big losses. And number three, most people don't know how to lock in a profit so that it doesn't go from a profit to break even to now I'm losing money. And that's what most traders end up doing. So just to recap here, guys, there's 3 important steps to success in the stock market. All right. I just threw a lot at you, but let's just recap. Number 1, you need to learn how to perform fundamental research to find out if the company's making money, losing money, and if you foresee that they're going to be making money or losing money for a long time into the near future or far out. Step 2, you need to learn how to read stock charts because they can literally tell you the best times to buy and sell and avoid you getting in when you should be selling and getting out when you should really be buying. You can avoid a lot of that just by learning how to read stock charts. And then number 3, even after you do fundamental research, even after you read the stock charts, you need the correct option strategy so you can maximize profits and minimize risk. That is the name of this game. Sometimes people say, isn't the stock market like gambling? It is for those people who only know how to make money the one way, and that's buy low, sell high. Well, what happens if it goes sideways or goes down? You're like, I don't know. Well, then that's gambling, right? You just hope and pray that it's going to go up. But when you become a strategist, You're like, I got a strategy if it goes up, I got a strategy if it goes down, and I got a way to make money even if it goes sideways. That's where you become a powerful, profitable trader and investor. All right. And so typically at this point in the webinar is where people, you leave a webinar like this and you typically go one or two ways. And I call it the good choice, bad choice, right? The bad choice is you go back to doing exactly what you were doing that wasn't getting you the result that you wanted in the stock market. The good choice is that you continue down this learning path. If you learn something here today, don't stop and be like, okay, I got it. I'm an expert now. I'm good. That's a bad choice, right? Because there's more to how to pick the right option, how to pick the right strike price, the exit date, how to pick the right put option, when to do it, when not to do it, which strategy is best when the market's up, down, sideways. There's a lot more to it than just like, oh, I'm going to leave this training and go buy a call and go buy a put. There's more to it, trust me, and I want to help you with that. And so I said that I would give you a free gift by sticking around to the end. And then for those who want to learn further, I want to share with you how we can work together inside Power Trades University, how you can take your learning deeper and become a much better trader and put the success odds in your favor. But for those who just want the free gift, I told you I'm a man of my word for sticking around. I want to help you make at least a better choice, even if you don't go further and deeper with the advanced trainings. Text the word GIFT to 313-251-2260. The reason we do it by text message is to eliminate spam, robots, fake email addresses, all this and that. So just text me. I promise I'll text you back. I'll say, hey, thanks for joining the webinar. Here's the free gift. Just click this link and you can get the free course. So just text the word GIFT to 313-251-2260. We usually charge about $300 for this course. Is yours free, my gift to you, so that I can keep you going down that good path and not the bad path of going back to doing what you were doing before this, which is guessing and stumbling your way through the market. I want you to continue your learning. But for those who really want to dive deeper and say, Jason Brown, how does this work to where I can see the trades that you're trading? How can I work with you? How can I understand the market on a deeper level? You told me there's 27 different strategies. I didn't even know the one or two you shared with us today existed. Well, I want to share with you Power Trades University, my coaching courses and community program where you can take your learning deeper and take your profits higher. And so we have three different categories. We have our starter membership, we have our pro membership, and then we have our masters. And then each one of our memberships come with 2 hours a week live group coaching for me, where I'm looking for real trades in the real market with my real account. And then you also have access to our traders forum to access hundreds of other traders who've all been trained, and it's the key, the correct way, looking for trades and sharing what they're finding. But I'm only going to talk about the starter program because most people are beginners. But if you are a pro or a master's, then I welcome you to take a look at those programs on our website. But I just want to talk about the starter program. So in the starter program, you'll have access to our foundations course. In foundations, this course is going to teach you how to read stock charts. We're going to teach you the language of the stock market. We're going to teach you when to buy, when to sell. So you'll never be confused about the stock market again. What did they say on TV? I don't understand what that means. What are those red and green flashing symbols? We're going to show you when to buy, when to sell. Just like that one chart I showed you, we're going to walk you through several examples, the 3 most common stock trends. We're going to teach you how to draw your lines on the chart, and how to feel confident that's the best time to buy and sell, and how to research and find good stocks in bad markets, and how to find the best stocks in good markets. That's all in that foundations course. You're going to have the foundation to find the stocks, know the best time to buy and sell them, and understand exactly when to get in and when to get out. The second course that you're going to get is Options Explained. This is where we start to dive into call and put options. And we break down about 9 different strategies in this course right here. Well, actually, there's way more than 9, but off those 9, there's like 2 additional ones per strategy. But you're going to be confident that you have the right strategy for any market condition. So you don't care if another pandemic hits. You don't care if a Ukraine, a Russia war breaks out. You don't care if a Trump trade war with China breaks out. Doesn't matter. You'll have the right strategy for any market condition. If we're up, down, volatile markets, you'll have a strategy for it. You'll also know how to protect your account from major losses. We dive deep into put options, how to use them to make money from falling stocks, as well as how to protect your account. So we talked to you about what's also called, one of my favorite strategies was called my rental income strategy. There's one strategy we break down that's just like real estate. So we show you how to buy stock the same way you would buy real estate, and then put a tenant in there. So how can you rent out your stock month after month and collect a premium the same way people do in real estate, or the same way that insurance companies do when they say, I'm willing to buy your car if you tear it up, but every month they get a payment every single month for that insurance payment. We're going to show you how to become the real estate or the insurance company. We're going to show you how to do both and create passive income and get a little bit of a monthly residual check every single month from the stock market. We'll show you how that's possible. And then again, you also get access to me, my team, and my members. Every week we go live for 2 hours, coaching, training, looking for stocks in the market. We want to reduce the noise and show you how a real trader analyzes real trades in the real stock market. We're going to get real-time market insights where I'm looking at analyzing what's going on in the market, where I think it's going, if I think it's going up, down, and what strategies I believe will be the best suited in this market conditions. And then you can get your questions answered. Most people don't have a place to get their questions answered, and we're changing that. You can ask questions live on the training sessions. You can also ask questions below each video module inside the course. And you can also ask questions in the forum of other traders, or you can ask them of me and my team, and we're there to help you navigate any questions that you might have. And so you have a community of traders. You can see some of their trade ideas, like Tiffany saw a trade idea from another trader. You can get connected with like-minded people. One of the things that people say is that I wish I had other people to talk to about this. I feel so alone. I feel so isolated. When the market's down, I got nobody to talk to. I don't know if I'm looking at this the right way. We're changing all that inside of Power Trades University. We're connecting you with other like-minded traders. You also have the ability to upload your charts, your trades, and what you think the stock is going to do. And you can get feedback real time from other traders inside of our community here, right? And so we put together literally everything you need to be successful. We got the courses to teach you how to find stocks, the best time to buy and sell. We got the option strategies to protect your account and show you how to make money if it's going up, down, or sideways, even if you have a small account. And then we got live trading, coaching, feedback, questions, real-time market analysis, so that you can stay up to date with what's going on with the market from a real trader and other real traders in our forum. We have everything that you need to become successful. And so I know you're probably thinking, how much does a program like this, what's the investment? All right. Because I like to use the word investment and not cost. Cost is something you buy and you don't expect to get any money back. An investment is where you put money in, and number one, you get lifelong knowledge that they didn't teach you at school. And then number two, you also have the ability to write your own paycheck. Okay. And so the payment plan for joining Power Trades University is $1,199. And then it's $199 a month for 12 months until it's paid off. And get this, you get lifetime access to the course. Watch it as many times as you want. Take a break from trading, come back. It's there for you. You also get 1 year of group coaching and access to the forum. So access to me, my team, the other traders, our weekly live sessions. They're all recorded if you can't make it live, but they're all recorded. You get access to all of that for 1 year. And then if you choose to keep it, you just stay on the $199 a month. Or you can just do the pay in full and save yourself 6%, and it's just $3,189. Now, there's usually two types of people who see this price. Number one person is like, oh my God, that's it. If you're gonna show me how to be successful, teach me, train me, coach me, put me in a room with other traders, I get to see what you're looking at every week. Most people know that college, one semester is more than that, and they don't teach you these skills that'll be with you for the rest of your life, okay? Now, the other person is like I said, that's it. And then there's the other person who's like, I don't know who that person is. I don't even want to speak to that person, all right? Because you should be able to see the value. If you take a look at what Tiffany was able to do, if you look, I highlighted this. She says, to shout out James R for posting this one in the bearish form. So we have a bullish form and a bearish form. She found this Z-scaler trade, which ticker symbol ZS. She found that from another member posting it in the forum. And then I just happened to talk about it as well on the live session. She said, and Jason Brown for putting this on the trade tracker, right? Jason Brown for posting this on the trade tracker. So I talked about it in our session. And if it's a trade we like, we have a spreadsheet where we post a trade and where we think the stock is going to go and what option we're looking at. And so she took $2,000 and made $3,086. She just literally paid for the entire program with one trade. All right. So I hope you can see the value there. But even if we were to stop there, the course is worth 6, 7, 8. We could charge $10,000 for this information. Most people do. There's other programs that charge 2 and 3 times as much as the information. And we could just stop there, but we also threw in these additional bonuses. So if you don't have a trading account or you don't know how to trade or how to invest and how to open an account, we did put together an entire brokerage account training, and we have different trainings on different brokers. So Schwab, TD Ameritrade, E-Trade, TradeStation. We put together a mini training series on the primary broker we use as well as additional brokers. We also built out what's called our cloud-based strategy trade and strategy tracker, where we have a cloud-based software platform that we built out. It's a Google Cloud sheet, but we built all the formulas out so you can plug it in, what stock you're looking at, where you think it's going to go, where you think it's going to fall. We produce a win-loss ratio. We tell you if that's a good trade, if it's a bad trade. We also walk you through the strategies, and you can plug in what call option you're looking at, what put option you're looking at. It'll tell you what the stock needs to do for you to break even. At what point do you start making money? We built that all out for you to remove all the guesswork from your trading, which is a $600 value. We also, for people who like pen and paper, we have our PDF downloads, our cheat sheets. If you like to print the rules, print what a call and put option are, print the strategies, you can print those and have them on your desk when you get ready to trade. And then we also broke down the Greeks. We did a mini course on the Greeks. So with options, there's Greeks like delta, theta, gamma, beta, rho. Not only do we train on what they are, but you could just Google what they are. We show you how to use that information. Like, okay, now how do I use that to place a trade? Or more importantly, how do I use that to pick the right option and option strategy? We walk you through all of that in that course. There's over $1,100 in bonuses. And in my opinion, the bonuses and the information is priceless, but there's over $1,100 in bonuses if you want to buy all those things separately that we're also just going to give you for enrolling inside the starter program. And so as we wrap up, listen, I know what the stock market has done for me, right? You know, I'm not trying to sell you on the stock market. You already are here because you heard that there's money to be made. There's wealth to be created. There's generational wealth to be created, that this industry can change your life. And I'm just a living testimony of it. I'm just a kid from Detroit. I never thought I'd be driving a Ferrari with invest on the license plates. I never thought I would be living in a lake house, paid off, don't have a 30-year mortgage, and I'm not 60 years old. All right. And matter of fact, let me rephrase that. I always knew I would have these things, but I thought I'd be like everybody else, working 2, 3 jobs for it, doing overtime, saving, scraping, just getting by, and hopefully getting the car of my dreams after my kids go off to college. And now I can finally afford it, but I'm 70 jumping out of a Ferrari. And so here's the question I want to ask you as we wrap up. You know, you weren't here by mistake. Most people pray for an opportunity. I'm a Christian and I was raised in the church, and I used to see this all the time, people praying for an opportunity. And then when the opportunity came to people in the church, they'd be skeptical about it. They'd be like, well, how do I know this is going to work? And this, that, and the third. And my question to you as we wrap up is, if you don't take advantage of this information in the stock market right here, right now, if not this, then what? If not the stock market, What is your game plan to get financial freedom, to get your dream house, dream car, send your kids to school without debt and big tuition debt? Maybe you're already in tuition debt. If not this, then what? What's going to pay off your debt? What's going to get you out of living check to check? Or maybe you're not living check to check. You're living comfortable, but you're not living the life that you know you could be. You're not driving the car, living in the house, taking a vacation. And sometimes it's not even about that. Maybe you want to give $100,000 to a COVID relief fund, to a Russia-Ukraine fund when a war or something like that happens. Maybe you'd love to put refugees up in the hotel, but you don't have the money to do it like you want to. So if not this, then what is going to allow you to do some of those things that you want to do in your life? And if not now, then when? Most people use the excuse, I want to do it, but not now. I want to wait till the timing is right. Let me give you a little bit of advice. The timing is never right. You know, some people, when you don't have kids, you're like, well, I don't want to get into this stuff now because I want to party and have fun. Well, then you have kids. Then your excuse is like, well, I want to wait till the kids are a little bit older or they go to school. Then I'll have time for myself. Then they go to school. You're like, well, I want to go back to work or go back to school myself, get a better job. There will always be something. So if not now, then when? All you need is about 2 hours a week to dedicate to this, and it can literally change your life. So if not now, then when? And then if not you, then who? If you're not the one to change your family tree, then who's going to do it? It only took one Ford, one Bill Gates, one Rockefeller, and their family is set for life. Most of you watching this probably work a job, and you can't pass your job down to your kids. You can't even pass your pension down. Once you pass away, they don't even want to get that to your spouse anymore. But you can pass this knowledge, this information down. You can actually pass literal stock down. You can start an investment account for your kids. It's called a custodial account. So if not you, then who? So I want you to answer those questions, because if you don't take advantage of this, I want to make sure you answered those questions and you're able to live with the decision. Like, if not this, then I don't know what. I guess I'm not going to achieve my dreams. And when I answered these tough questions, I was like, well, that's not a solution to just not achieve my goals and dreams. So let me give this a shot. And I knew my whole life was busy. So I'm like, yes, now is the time, right? They say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, right? So like, if you've been doing whatever you've been doing and don't have time, you're probably not going to have time in 6 months or a year. So you just have to make the time and do something different. And then if not you, then who? Is it your spouse, your little brother, your best friend who's going to free your family or get you out of debt and put your kids through school? I doubt it. I doubt it. I believe you were sent to this webinar for a reason. So click the link, pick up the program. You get foundations, options explains, the live 2-hour weekly group coaching session. You get all the bonuses, over $1,100 in bonuses. It's only $3,189 if you do the one pay. And even for those who are on the budget, we got the payment plan, $1,199 and just $199 a month for 11 months. And at the end of 11 months, you own all the courses, all the programs for free. Continue watching it, revisit it. You can even pass the courses down to your kids. I don't even think they allow you to do that in college. Would you pass the textbook down, right? All of that stuff is outdated. As we update the course, you also get lifetime free access to all the updates. And we record the courses every 2 to 3 years and make sure we got new examples, or if something's changed in the marketplace where we found a better way to teach it, we update the course and the information. So you get lifetime access to all the updates as well, which means if you pass it down to your kids, they'll be taking the updated version when they take this information. So click the link somewhere on the page. It's either going to be below here. It's going to be a button off to the side. Click it. Let's get started. I'll see you inside Power Trades University. Thanks for spending some time with me. Let's change your family tree.
A new place, a new home, for a while, let me feel alive. Nothing to hold me back, take my time, just enjoy the ride. A new man passing by, life is good, best I've ever felt. Get me up, somewhere new, somewhere I can find myself. Oh, I feel so alive. As I reach out to the sky. I found my way. I was in the dark against it all, but made it through the day. 'Cause I found my way.